All right, so let's take it from the top. You learned from the Pro Gatsby 2, and we are looking at your personal website, the gregrickaby.dev,
Hmm.
and we are looking at converting this over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super pumped to do this because we've done a lot of stuff where we're basically working with themes, but we're always like starting from scratch. It's like, oh, here's an empty folder. Let's turn this into like a new theme. So we haven't actually done a lot with converting something that exists into a theme.
Right.
So I think this is a cool opportunity for us to make some improvements here. So let's take a look at what's going on inside the kind of, let's see. We've got a couple plugins going. So we've got a sitemap plugin, the React Helmet plugin, which is so that we can manipulate the head tag. We're using the file system plugin for both images and posts. Oh, and uploads. And then we've got the Gatsby plugin Nullify CMS. Using Sharp for images, Sass, the manifest for like progressive web app stuff,
Hmm.
offline plugin for service workers, Gatsby transformer remark so that we can parse that markdown. Um, got the CMS paths here, relative images, remark images. Okay, styled components, and you're using styled components and Sass.
Yeah. So I'm using Sass to do like global things like
Okay,
headers, footers, and then the style components are actually styling components. So
awesome, very cool. All right, so then we've got the Netlify CMS plugin, and I'm not actually familiar with this one. Is this a source or is it a like? Actually, maybe what would be kind of cool. Um, what does Netlify CMS do? Like, let's maybe just jump into that for a second because I feel
sure.
like
So
that's a
it basically creates a like a very WordPress like WYSIWYG editor that allows you to hammer out a title. It'll generate a slug for you. You can create like what we call in WordPress land custom fields. It allows you to create custom fields basically for front matter.
mm,
So you can create like a cover image. I'm calling it a thumbnail, and then I'm pulling it in and making a cover image. And you can register all of those kind of fields, and then you get a really nice WYSIWYG editor where you can actually type your content, and you can either type it and use HTML, or you can type it in Markdown. Either way, it'll
gotcha.
save it as a Markdown file into a folder called static. Um,
Cool.
and that's where we point at, have Gatsby point at it to pull out and create our pages or
Okay.
posts.
And it is Netlify CMS. It looks like the static stuff. Is that what's being done here?
Yeah, that's correct.
And
Yep.
are
So
these are uploaded via Netlify
via
CMS?
net, no, that's correct. Yep, via the
Okay.
CMS.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then let's see the admin stuff. Is this anything that we need to worry about? Probably not.
yeah. So in that folder, that basically that config file tells Netlify CMS like what's going on. Where it instructs the admin interface of Netlify CMS on where to put the file uploads, how to format the slugs, stuff like that. So
Gotcha. Okay. So is the site live now? Like if I go to
yeah,
gregrickaby.com? Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's absolutely awful.
All right.
I am
So
not a designer, but I have been playing around trying to make it a little nicer before today's live stream. So
so let's talk about kind of the outcome. Like what is the goal that we want by converting the site to a theme? Is it to have like do we want this to basically become a static folder and that's it? Like a static folder in a Gatsby config?
yeah, kind of. So what I was thinking is like if I wanted to, I could create a reusable theme that has all of the things that I need to do blogs
Okay.
baked in. I have more than just one blog. I have my .com. I have a blog that talks about like all the stuff going on at my house. So I would like to reuse that theme on multiple installs of Gatsby. So
gotcha.
that's what themes are for, right? And I don't want to have to like scaffold and set up Netlify CMS every time. Like I just want to be able to pull in my theme and start blogging and have all that content saved in like a folder called blog or site or something.
Okay,
so
I get you. Well, cool.
Yeah.
So the good news is, I don't know that it's going to take us a whole lot to do that, because all of these plugins should continue to work. There's a couple things that'll get interesting. Like I think we might want to play with that a bit, but the site metadata is composable. So like the theme can set defaults, and then you can just override that in the child theme or in the site that uses it. It looks like nothing going on there. That's good. This is all pretty straightforward, I think. Like we're just to walk through it real quick. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen this one, the relative images, but so you're creating.
Yeah.
Is this a plugin that you built, or is it one that you found?
No. So Gatsby assumes that when you write a blog post and you attach an image, that image is going to be literally in the same directory as the markdown file. So using Netlify CMS, you tell the admin Netlify CMS where to put the images, and that's why they're in that static folder. So right there, we're going to have to register basically our nodes so we can inform Sharp where to find and optimize those images.
Gotcha. And then we create a slug, and then we use that slug to create a page. And we just created a post/slug. So in terms of the kind of the things that are happening here, this is all, pretty straightforward stuff. There are a few little gotchas that we'll talk about as we go through. Nothing in the SSR. That's always good news. And it looks like we are in pretty solid shape here. So let's do it like this. I'm going to give you control here. But I think, hold on, before I do that, what I'm going to do is so one of the easiest ways to deal with this kind of stuff is to put together a Yarn workspace. So I'm just going to make a directory for the Yarn, for the workspace. So we'll just call this like Greg theme. And then I'm going to move the site. Oh, wait, I need to go. What am I doing? I'm going to move Greg theme up a level, go back out, and then I'm going to move the whole thing into this Greg theme. And the reason that I'm doing that is because then what I can do is if I set this up, let's pop this one open, get that to fit in the window. Getting there? How are we doing? Let's see. Can I see it?
I have like 8 different VS Code windows open.
I know. All right. So we got this one. Okay. So what I can do then is I need to actually share this one with you. So I'm going to share a different link with you here.
Okay. Yeah. So it did. Everything kind of went away. So.
Yep. So share that link with you instead. And what you'll be able to do in here is we can set up a package.json, JSON. And in it, we're going to make it private. And then we're going to set up workspaces. And the reason that we want to set up workspaces is that it lets us kind of control the dev process without having to publish every time, which is a huge pain. So we're going to set it up to track your site in the gregrickaby.dev folder, but then I'm also going to set one up for the theme. And I'm just going to make a folder for themes so that we can track it like this. So basically what this gives us is I can now create this new folder called theme. And in it, we're going to be able to just start porting different stuff for your theme. So I'm going to call this folder Gatsby theme. What do you want to call your theme?
Naming things is hard.
Yeah, I
I have no idea.
Let's go easy. We'll call it Nullify CMS.
That's great.
And so we'll set it up like this, and then we can just start pulling things across. And so to start, I actually think what we could do is pull the whole thing across, which I'm going to do. Let's just do it. We'll pull everything across with the, let's just grab it all. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay. And so now we have kind of a working copy of your theme. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete pretty much everything else.
Okay.
So I'm going to get rid of all of this in here. Let's see. We'll leave the git ignore, leave the editor config, we'll get rid of that no, we need that. Let's get rid of this though. And so I'm going to delete all of these. Okay. And so where we are now is we have effectively a kind of an empty site that's got some static files and a Gatsby config. And I'm just going to I'm going to let you take over. So go ahead and you can just drop all of the plugins.
Okay.
And I've never done this live share thing. We set it up for a stream the other day and then ended up not using it. So this is going to be kind of interesting.
Oh, fun. Put me on the spot.
Yeah. But so the next thing that you're going to want to do is, after the site metadata, you can do _.
Oh, we're doing the experimental themes?
We are, yeah.
Okay. And then it's experimental themes. Then that is a what?
That's an array, so colon. And then in quotes, we're going to do Gatsby theme, Nullify CMS. And so as of right now, we haven't actually done, so you can save that. And then let's go into your package.json in the theme. Or I apologize, not in the site itself.
Oh, and gregrickaby.dev?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there we go.
And so in here, we want to basically get rid of all of the dependencies except for Gatsby, React, and React DOM. Because the dependencies are all going to live in the theme. And then at the right under Gatsby, we're going to add a dependency on your theme. So in the double quotes, Gatsby theme, Nullify CMS. And for the version, just set star. And what this will do is the Yarn workspaces they'll pick that up and kind of map it for us. So then what I want to try is, so things are going to break when we do this, but what I want to try is just running it. So let me pull up the terminal here, and I'm going to do, so we're in the Yarn workspaces, right? So we can see the gregrickaby.dev and we can see the theme. And if I run yarn, we'll see it. What? More than one workspace with the name Greg Rickaby. Oh, we got to rename the theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this package, we're just going to rename this to Gatsby theme Nullify CMS. And then let's go out here and run yarn again. And what we'll see is it's going to run, we'll start seeing workspace aggregator in here. See here? And that's the yarn workspaces. So effectively what it's doing is it's noticing that we've got multiple projects in here. And then that starts to like pull the dependencies through. It knows that the theme is local, and so it'll mirror that for us. And it's basically just a nice way to work on the theme development before you're ready to publish. Once it is ready to publish, we're gonna break these apart again, and you'll be able to actually put them up on the internet.
Cool. I had a couple of questions about this while we're waiting on
please.
Yarn. So I watched the video you did about like the one of, I think it was about a month ago you did with John, where you created a theme. You had and you had like multiple package.json files, and in them you had like the dependencies set for Gatsby, React, and React DOM, and you had that in each one of the package JSONs. Could you talk about maybe why you have to do that and why it's
Yes.
not just like in a single package.json?
So actually, that brings up a really good point, which is that we don't want Gatsby to be a dependency. We want it to be a peer dependency. So effectively, this theme isn't going to operate if Gatsby, React, and React DOM aren't present. However, we don't want we want to throw an error when they're missing, but we don't want to install our own version because then we'd get collisions where like the site installs, React 16.5, we have React 16.6, it clashes and it's just kind of a nightmare, right? So we only want one React dependency. So if we set it as a peer dependency, then it will complain if it doesn't find React, but it doesn't install React. So that solves like the production, it solves the production use case. And so then we want to solve the problem of like, well, in development, we need to be able to actually. Sorry, 1 second. I got told my mic is a little bit quiet, so I'm going to turn it up a bit. How's that? A little bit better? Oh, that's really loud. Okay. All right. So that's hopefully a little bit better. Hopefully we're not getting a bunch of background noise as well. But so we want to make sure that in development that the dependencies are still included. So we need to include it as a dev dependency. So we'll do dev dependencies and, oh wait, are there already dev dependencies declared? They are. So we'll just go down here and use those instead. So for this, we want Gatsby. So only during development, we will load Gatsby, and the same with React DOM and React. So we'll cut those here and make sure that this is right. And so this is fine in development, but we still want that warning for peer dependencies. So I'm going to also set this up. Do peer dependencies, and then for prettier, we don't want that. So basically what this will say is during development, make sure these are available, but don't install them in production. And in production, warn if these aren't present.
Okay.
So that's why does that make sense why we set it like that?
Yeah, it does. I guess my question was more around like why do we have to specify that in multiple package.json files?
Because
like
each of these is effectively its own independent Gatsby site. Like you can start a theme as a site.
Okay.
And so because of that, we need to make sure that it's got all the dependencies available. And so that's kind of it's a little bit of a gotcha, but it's basically just kind of the way that node packages work. Like if the packages have a shared dependency, it would need to be present in all of them.
Gotcha. So I guess not to get too deep into the npm rabbit hole, like which package.json is the truth then? If let's say like in our theme here, our Gatsby theme Netlify CMS, we have Gatsby set to, I don't know, like 2.3.0, but in the site, it's like 2.3.2. Which one wins?
So this is saying that we need at least 2.3.2. So it's not actually going to, like this theme isn't going to install Gatsby at all when it's installed as a package because it's set as a peer dependency. And so as long as our site specifies 2.3.2 or greater, then the peer dependency is satisfied up to a point. Like I think if it has to be version 2, and it might complain if it's a minor. I don't think it complains on minors, but it'll definitely complain on a major. So if you said like, I need Gatsby, greater than 2.3.2, and then you installed Gatsby 3, like when that gets released someday, you would get a complaint that, hey, this says it needs Gatsby 2 and you've installed Gatsby 3. So that's kind of the idea with peer dependencies. You can say, this is the range that things are compatible with. And if you don't install it, then NPM or yarn will yell at you.
Okay. So in gregrickaby.dev, which
Yes.
is, I think, the package JSON that you have open now,
Yes.
the dependencies is basically setting the stage for the entire install or workspace, the thing we're going to build today. That dependencies right there is saying to NPM or yarn, I need Gatsby 2.32. I need to install the theme and its dependencies, as well as React and React DOM and Prettier.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. So that is, I believe, that puts us in pretty good shape here. So let's give it a start and see what happens. So to do this, I'm going to do yarn workspace Greg Rickaby.dev and let's see what your start script is. Develop. And this is going to try to start that theme, and it's going to explode because we haven't fixed a couple things yet. So I just want to make sure that it's actually picking up the theme and doing the things that we expect, and that's okay. So it is saying that it can't find the theme. So let's figure out what went wrong there.
I bet we just named it wrong or misspelt it. I had to guess.
Always a possibility. So Gatsby theme, Nullify CMS. And then we are in Gatsby theme, Nullify CMS. And what did we put in the package? Gatsby theme, Nullify CMS. So that looks like it was right. I may have just not run the install. So let's try that one more time. Nope, still doesn't like it. Okay, so now we can do yarn workspaces info and see what it's trying to do here. So it says it's fine because it is actually showing up in the workspace. So, oh, I know what's wrong. This is a Webpack resolution thing, and Chris Biscardi just jumped in to tell us that as well. So basically, when you have a package like this, you know, we're saying go find package or Gatsby theme Nullify CMS, the node like resolution path, it's going to look for whatever the main file is. So if we have in our package.json, we don't have a main file set. So it's going to default to index.js. So we just need to add an index.js. And you can make this a no-op. I like to call it a boop. So now that we've got that, we can run, nope, that's the wrong command. Let's do the develop again. And now it's actually going to find it. And now we should start getting actual errors because we'll have a couple things with path resolution and a couple other things that I wanted to look at. So created a page with a component that doesn't exist. So that's what we expected. It is looking for Greg theme, Greg Rickaby.dev. Oh, that looks like it should. No, it shouldn't. That's okay. Yeah. So here's what happened. We are in the theme in Gatsby node. We need to find all the places where we're looking for a component, and that's here. And so where we're using path.resolve, we actually want to use require.resolve. And the reason for that is that path.resolve is going to solve for the current package that's executing. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I realize I've never actually verified this, but looking at that error message, that's what happened. So path.resolve found the site. It looked in this folder for the source components posts. If we use require.resolve looks inside the package. And so by changing this, what it's going to do is instead of looking for Greg theme / Greg Rickaby.dev, it's going to look for Greg theme / Gatsby theme Nullify CMS. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So now
when you run, just to clarify, like this was confusing to me when I started the yarn workspace command. Mm-hmm. Basically, when you type yarn workspace and then the name of the workspace, you are being transported inside of that folder, right? And that is where yarn is actually running.
Yeah. So you're basically saying like the whatever package we've set up that has the name. So it looks at the package.json name. So whichever package has this name, then you want to run whatever script. So we're saying yarn workspace, this command. And so right. it's jumping into that folder and then running the develop command in this package. So now we can try that again now that we fixed up that require.resolve. Okay, getting closer. And so now the thumbnail must not have a selection since type string has no subfields. So this is going to be interesting.
This is a rabbit hole, I'm telling you.
So here's what I suspect. Because when you you set this up to use this images to relative, I bet that has a, let's see, source components post index, and then you make a selection under here. So I want to poke at this. Let's go look at the source for this plugin. And what I'm guessing is that, is this the one? This looks like the one. What I'm guessing is it's probably using path, and that's going to mess us up. And so, yep. So it's using path.join, which means, but that actually shouldn't matter because it's still in the top level directory. So yeah, I'll see you later, Chris. Chris is bouncing out. That's not good because now we don't have adult supervision.
Before this live stream, I spent probably the last 90 minutes trying to resolve this error.
Okay. So yeah, let's try to figure out where it is coming from. So in your posts, we've got where is it pulling the actual content from?
Yeah, so this is just an artifact of using that starter thing from the Level Up Tuts. I would really like for the posts not to live inside of source components. I would love for them to live in the theme because that's where they belong. So there is
where are they?
They're right there.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
Yeah. They need to be moved into the theme, or not in the theme, into my website, right? Because I don't want to write blog posts in my theme. I want to write blog posts in my website.
Yeah, that
along
makes
with
sense.
pages. So those need to get moved up to gregrickaby.dev, and then I need to instruct Nullify CMS to write and look and work in the post directory in my website.
I got you. Yeah. So let's figure this out. So we've got in Gatsby node, I guess it's going to be in the Gatsby config. We're looking for, you've got source images, source posts. So I'm going to change this to just be posts. And I want to see if we can get the data in. So let's take a look and just try that. And I think we're probably going to have to move. I think we're going to have to move these images up as well.
So that's just a logo. The actual images for the blog post are in the static folder.
Right, and those we kept. So we've got those.
Yeah.
And so actually, probably for the sake of not confusing the hell out of ourselves, we should delete this.
Yeah, we don't need those. And then I was kind of thinking, like, in the source folder, those images, those are like for the theme, right? Maybe if I wanted to throw some SVGs of like a GitHub logo or a Twitter logo in there, that would be where those would live. So that, I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That could be for.
Let's see. So something went weird in the Gatsby plugin manifest. So like the manifest plugin, that's probably one that would make more sense because it has
that one you're going to have to
specifics.
change the path there on line 52 is going to have to get changed.
We're actually going to want this to be out of the theme because I wouldn't want So this is going to be your decision as a developer. I wouldn't turn on service workers by default for anyone because
Okay.
they can cause so many confusing things if you don't know that they're happening. So I always make service workers an opt-in feature. And then the other thing here is that the manifest, this info is going to differ between every site. And so probably the manifest you would want individually declared on each site.
Okay.
So for that, what I'll let you do is we want to pull these two out of the theme Gatsby config and drop them into the site Gatsby config.
Yeah, there's like 600 things open, so I need to find which one you're in. We are in the inside Netlify CMS and then Gatsby config. And I need to copy or cut and paste
That
manifest.
and the offline plugin.
Okay, you want me to take that with then?
Yep.
All right,
And then
save that and
up.
then drop that into my website.
Yep. So just add a plugins.
And that is a array, right?
Yep. Okay. So this is good. And then what we'll need to do, I think you'll have to, it's not valid JSON if it's got that trailing comma. But
do we need to point the source?
Is it adding trailing commas?
Yeah, good old prettier.
Oh, it's a JS file. Never mind. But yeah, so we'll need to move these back into the package.json.
Move what?
These two plugins. So we currently have them uninstalled on the site, and we'll need to move these back over to the package.json here, which we can do actually. I'll show you how to do it with Workspaces. We'll do yarn workspace add Gatsby plugin manifest and Gatsby plugin offline. And this will add it to our package.json. Will show up in here momentarily. The streaming always puts a good source of strain on here so that things go nice and fast. But yeah, so now we've got the manifest and the offline plugin here, which means that down in the theme, we can drop those. So I'll get rid of the offline and manifest. I'm going to run yarn one more time so that we drop those dependencies. And okay, so now when we run develop, let's see what happens next. It's still going to give me that error for the image because we haven't moved that. So this image needs to move up. And we need a source folder for it, so I will create that. Cool. And so now that will have errored this time, but if we run it again, we should get a different error. There's a comment about the yarn plug and play, which I am super excited about. I'm really looking forward to that working. Okay, so now we've got an error about these images. Are you querying for this image? The logo?
Yeah, I don't even know. I think I was just using it in the
In the manifest?
yeah, in the manifest for the progressive web app. I think that was the only place I was using it.
Okay, so if that's the case, then what we should be able to do is just drop out that extra, just take this out altogether. And that way
just an FYI, so I hate interrupting you, but that plugin for the relative images for Netlify CMS, that states that you have to specify the images first so that like if you go look at the plugin website or the page for that plugin, it talks about how you need to specify the very top of your source file system where the static assets live for your blog post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Add static assets before the markdown files. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely not doing that. So let's swap that order. And I'm also going to change this to be relative. So we're doing the post folder and we're doing static images uploads. So let's do that and see what happens. And we got much further this time. It's like it's building. we've created pages. We got all sorts of stuff going on. So let's see how this goes.
The fact that I spent 90 minutes on this before this stream and then to watch it work like on the third try, really.
I feel like, but I mean, that isn't that like always like as soon as you go to somebody to say like, hey, can you give me a hand with this? The instant you arrive and like they look at your computer, everything starts working.
Right.
So yeah, all right, we're in better shape.
Hey, there's the image.
All right, so that's good.
Imposter syndrome happening right here, right now.
Don't. Earlier, you got some love for not selling yourself short, and I think this is a good chance to just kind of say that out loud. Like definitely don't sell yourself short. No, this is great, man. Like here we go. We've got things going. So we've got a couple problems. The most obvious of which is that where's your homepage? So let's take a look at what is happening there. So in your theme, you have your pages, but we're not picking up your pages. And the reason for that is that the pages directory is specially handled. It's very difficult to, let's see, how does this work? So the pages directory is special in Gatsby sites. On the Bootstrap, we look in for source pages on the site itself and take any pages that are there and create them. On a package or a theme, we don't do that by default because that might be unexpected. So instead, we make sure that that's automatically opted in. And to do that, you're going to use the Gatsby page creator. This one. And that's the one. So I'll actually let you go ahead and do this one. I'll install it for you so that we don't have to figure out how that's going to work on live share. But
sure.
Let's do yarn workspace add. No, that's not the right thing at all. We want it to be on the theme. Gatsby. Nope. Where is it? Gatsby theme Nullify CMS. And on doing that, here we go. All right. So now, if I look in the package.json, we have the plugin page creator. Good. All right. So if you want to hop into the Gatsby config, you will be able to add really wherever you want. You can add in the page creator config, which is
that goes in the theme, right?
It goes in the themes Gatsby config, and it's just going to be this. Leave out the dir name, or actually no, keep the dir name in this one.
Yeah, I was gonna copy pasta in some stuffs. And you said I can throw that anywhere?
Yeah, just anywhere in the plugin array.
Okay. My brain works like I want to see that near the top because I like seeing all the paths near the top. I don't know why. So we're going to resolve our page creator, and for this, we need it to point into where?
Source pages. So we just want to make sure that these get turned into pages. I think this will work. We might have to path resolve it. It's been a minute since I've looked at this code. So if this doesn't work first try, we'll go review another theme and make sure that that actually does what we want. But let's get the site started here. Okay. Up and running. Nothing's exploding. This is good. Uh-oh. The path does not exist. All right. So let's go check a theme that that I know works, which would be Gatsby theme data. I think it is. Hold on. What's my GitHub? One of these is going to work, I swear. Okay. So in here, I have a ton of these, and one of them has the page creator in it, and it was this one. Okay, so in the Gatsby config, we will find page creator, and we do indeed need to do the path join. Or actually, we can just dir name it. Like, that would be fine. So effectively, you can just revert back to include that dir name like it was before. Yep, wow. Just leave that, save it.
All right.
Okay. Let's give it another run. Okay. So far, so good. All right, no, it didn't look like we got any errors. So let's jump back out to, where was it? Not there. Here? Here. All right, we got ourselves a blog. Let's click around a little bit, make sure things work. Yep, that's what we want. Those are not internal.
Those are just external. Yeah, there you go.
And then do you have any other pages on here? Let's see, these are all external.
Yeah. I think I had a slash about, which I don't think I wrote anything in. Yeah.
Cool, but it works. So, yeah. All right. So we've effectively converted your site over to a theme. And here's what that actually means, because I know that this is kind of like, all right, we've got a ton of files open and it's a Gatsby site. Like, it seems like you did a lot of work for not a lot of gain, but check this out. So if we close this theme folder, we can start looking at what's going on in here. And it's pretty powerful, because basically what's happening is this static folder that Nullify CMS is using, and this posts folder, and then this one image, which that image could live anywhere. You could also probably put it in static and it would be fine.
Sure.
These are the only folders that you really need. So if we, the package, so these are all just kind of like configuration files that are optional. So at a bare minimum, what we could do is, to start a new site using this content. And actually, why don't we just play with this? Because it's kind of fun to do this. I'm going to create
I would love to see if Nullify CMS actually works. Like, could you hit the admin page?
Oh, that's a great question, because I don't see any reason why you couldn't, because it's set up here. So we've got static images uploads, source post, or we've changed this, so it's going to be posts. Yep. Okay. I think that's it. So then, let me publish my, how would I do this? Got this. Okay, so here's all the stuff that we deleted, which is kind of exciting.
Do you want me to add you as a collaborator?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because then I can fire up Nullify CMS.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see. There's a couple questions here. Wouldn't resolving the path be a good practice anyways? Yes, resolving the path. So resolving the path, like the reason that you would do path resolve versus just like a template string is because there could be different directory separators. But to the best of my, and I might be wrong about this, to the best of my knowledge, the node fixes that so that it's not really an issue anymore. If any Windows users are looking at this and I'm incorrect, please let me know so that we fix that. But so I'm going to check out a new branch. We're going to call this branch theme conversion. I'm going to add everything that we did. And then I'm going to push this up.
I have added you as a collaborator.
Excellent. Thank you.
I don't know if you have to accept it first.
I might. Yeah, we'll head over there and if I need to, I can pull it up in my email. Convert to a Gatsby theme. And we can push. Is it going to let me do that? Don't have them yet. Yeah, let me grab this invite. Okay, so now I should be able to do it. Okay, so here we have the theme, and if I refresh this, I can get the theme conversion. And then the part that we don't have is you're going to have to create a theme repo.
Gotcha. So I need a brand new GitHub repo just to house the theme.
Yes. And then if you want to make me a collaborator on that, I can push up what we did. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go into the theme. Where am I?
What do we call it? Gatsby theme?
Nullify CMS.
I did not spell that right. Gatsby. There we go.
Okay.
And let me invite you again. J. Langston. Paste that in.
What's the co? That's what we want. So we will set this up to include co-authored by. And then if you're comfortable with your email being shown on this live
that's
stream.
fine. It's just Greg at gregrickaby.com.
Okay. So that, and then what was the, did you send me a thing for it?
I did. Yeah.
Got it. I'm going to grab this as my origin. So we're going to do git remote add origin. Okay. And then I should be able to just push that up. Okay.
Boom.
There we go. All right. So you now have a theme, but this isn't actually published. So the next step that you would need is you would need to, do you have on npm.js, you'll need an account?
Oh, good.
Do you have one of those? Like,
I do not.
I think what you can do is
sign up real quick.
Let's see, npm help. And what we're looking for is who am I? That's it. So if I do like an npm who am I, it'll say that I'm signed in as Jay Langsdorf. So if you run the same, effectively, so basically what I'm trying to do is, short of having you set up the workspaces on your own machine, that Nullify CMS stuff, or maybe the smart thing here, for the sake of proving this, would be to just start with the Nullify CMS Um, how do I go? How do I get to the?
Yeah, so it's if you go back to your terminal, there's a link to it. I think it's just /admin, like localhost port 8000 /admin, I think.
Oh, okay. Let me
Yeah.
run the command here again, and maybe it's just gonna like be cool if that just worked.
I signed up for a NPM account. So I'm
Nice.
good.
So yeah, so to finally publish, like actually get this available, what you would want to do is you would do npm publish inside of the theme directory, and that's going to put whatever version you say. So in your package.json, you have, let's see, that's the site. You wouldn't want to publish that, but the theme you do want to publish, and that is going to be here. You've got it set private true. You would want to take that off so that you could publish it. And then typically with a theme, like I would start at 001 and just see how that goes. But so you can take this, and then when you publish it, it will actually create, like, you would be able to npm install Gatsby theme Nullify CMS at 001. And that way you can start testing it. In the meantime, what I want to do is I want to, where was the admin? All right, let's go to the admin.
There you go.
Okay, is this going to let me do it because I have access to your repo? Let's find out. Okay. So Netlify is not going to do anything shady with my info now that they've got it. I'm just kidding.
All the spam.
I know the Netlify team. They're great people.
Yeah.
Get,
I love how easy it is to get stuff running on there.
it really is wonderful. Okay. Put that in. Get here. Okay, so it did.
Let me see if I get that same error. Well, shoot, I can't.
Yeah, you would have to like clone everything and do the package. But, so
Yeah.
I guess we found a limitation of the VS Code live share is that you have to like get a full copy of everything running on your local computer. So I mean, you can just like take this package JSON and set up the same folder in your own, like get both repos cloned into one folder and set this at the root, and that would let you test it. I'll probably leave that as an exercise for not on the stream, but what I'm kind of curious about is what happens if I just do something. I've never actually used the Netlify CMS, so this is cool.
I love it. It's just what you need, and then you can add
Wait, that's what I want.
more things if you need them. I like to turn the preview off because I have no idea why the image is 1900 pixels wide.
Yeah, no
if you
kidding.
mash that little eyeball, it'll disappear. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. All right, so if I save this, where does it put it?
It commits it up on GitHub as a pull or in a feature branch, and
Really?
yep.
Okay.
And
So
the other
wait,
cool
did I
thing
just
about-
post content on your site then?
No, not yet. Nope, not yet. Yep, there
This
it is.
is a test post.
The way I've got Netlify CMS set up, and I love this feature because this is something I wish WordPress had. If you go back to the admin panel for Netlify CMS,
Got it.
there is a drop down there for set status.
Set.
Yep.
Ooh, cool.
Check. This is even cooler than that, though. Go scroll back up to the top, and then actually, I'm sorry, hit the little left arrow on the left and go back,
Okay.
and then click on workflow. Check out this sexiness.
Oh, that's
Kanban
slick. Look at that.
Yeah. You can drag
Wait,
it
and so if
over.
I drag it over?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. That is really cool. And so now is it update? So is it like updating that in here somewhere?
I think so.
Status. I don't see a status.
I think it's doing something.
Man, I should talk to Benaya, one of the folks who works on Netlify CMS. He lives in Portland. I should have him on the stream and like do a deep dive on this because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So on line 8, that's how you turn on that Kanban stuff. Is you got to set it to editorial workflow.
Yeah.
which I
That's
don't need because it's just me. Well, now it's both of us, so I guess I
yeah.
would need it now. But
This is cool, man. So all right, so I'm gonna do something actually. What I want to do is I want to pull this down and I want to make sure
okay,
that it builds. So let me come over here. I'm going to go into the site and I'm gonna do git checkout here. Oh, origin. What? Fetch. That's what I wanted. Okay, now I'm going to do yarn workspace, Greg, develop, but it needs to be a dot. And so if this works as expected, we should see an otter.
an angry otter.
We've got, oh, come on, buddy. All right. See, it looks like it didn't read that post, but I wonder if that's because the post is
Set to draft
yeah, let me check
or review.
the source real quick. We got here. We got posts. Did the other posts end up somewhere else? Where are the rest of them?
Oh no.
Okay, so I know what happened. It's
Checked
because
out.
it's
Yeah,
because when
checked out.
I did the thing. So so it looks like we're running on a cached version because I swapped out a bunch of stuff in the background. So if I delete these directories and then run this again, what
Is that Gatsby clean?
so
That's awesome.
Gatsby Clean is like a nice a convenience method around deleting the cache in public folders. We don't want you to do it a ton because ideally we should be able to correct cache problems like we should be able to correct them, and usually we can. But so because themes are doing some like interesting like resolution stuff, because they are like messing with Webpack, it causes some basic issues.
Gotcha.
And so
That seems easier than remove rf dot cache.
exactly. And so Greg, I apologize, man. I just realized I am 7 minutes late for my next meeting. And so I gotta, I gotta bounce, man. I apologize. But yeah, so basically from here, what you should be able to do is publish this as a package, and then you'll be able to install that into the theme locally, and just try it in your own workflow and get back to me. And if you want to kind of do a follow up, like maybe like this would actually be great to turn into a blog post, just kind of how you got that all set up. And just kind of keep us in the loop because this is very fun. Any questions before I bounce?
No, man. I appreciate your time. So thank you.
Absolutely.
From an old grizzled WordPress dev. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Greg. We'll see you soon.
Later.